Hey guys, this is Camfrey15, and this is my partner for the final time this season, the Red Wolf. Join me on a My Hero Academia Season 4 review for you.
Daily Conjure Song, Keep Phones, Kag Master, whatever you want to call me. Just kidding. Go on.
Okay. Man, this thing started way back in October, and now it's ending essentially the time this anime was supposed to start last year, in April. And we've come full circle. It's one hell of a job by Studio Bones. Phenomenal job. I got to give you a round of applause. Thank you for this amazing season. Season 4 was honestly, where next week me and the Red Wolf will go on here one more time to talk about My Hero Academia, to give our season 4 as a total review and thoughts about season 4. But season 4, it's one of the best. It's if not right now the best season of My Hero Academia. It just has that heart and emotion that. Not to say that the past three seasons, didn't have. The past three seasons had that heart and that emotion. It's just this was, game changing from the start of the overhaul arc to where we end off here, and especially that post credit scene at the end. It just gets you even more hyped for season 5. um, yes, Denzel is clearly excited to see what happens next in the story of Deku. But today's episode was episode 25 of season 4, which was the season finale, and it was titled His Start. Now, for one, I swear, I kid you not, this was probably like the one episode where I took about the least amount of notes possible because all we saw was action this episode. Like legit, there was only like a few different plot points. It was the part when you see the Todoroki family, and then you see really essentially the Deku post credit scene. That's really what I put into the frick my notes because there's nothing else to really talk about because it was all fighting. Other than the epic animation we've seen, that this animation has been good. This animation this season has been fire. No pun entirely intended, but you know what I mean.
Hey, like,
Oh my goodness. Okay. So, like I said, this is My Hero Academia season 4, episode 25. It is titled His Start, and this is the season finale. So the episode starts off with the hospital, and that's the hospital where Todoroki's mom. Her name is Rei Todoroki, I believe. That's her name, and we see Todoroki's brother and sister. Now his sister's name is Fu Fuyami. I still have a problem pronouncing that. It's hard to say. Fuyami, and his brother name is Natsu Todoroki. Not Natsu from Fairy Tail. Natsu Todoroki. Natsu from My Hero Academia.
no, it's not Natsu from Fairy Tail because I can see that his hair is only white and I'm sure he only uses ice.
Who knows? Maybe he could use fire.
Mm-hmm. I
We still,
mean,
we still haven't seen what. Obviously, we would know what their core cards either would be ice or fire. I'm guessing it would probably be more fire since Endeavor was the more dominant one.
mm, I, I, okay.
Yeah. So essentially, we see them in the mom's hospital, and the mom's with them, and essentially, they're just talking about, how she's feeling and stuff like that. Because if you guys don't remember the whole really abusive backstory she went through, she looks much more better than she did when we last saw her, which was, well, I don't know when we exactly last saw her, but Jesus, from the backstory, like she looks much more calm and she looks much more stable. And I believe the scene saying she's almost ready to be able to go outside to the public soon, because of the treatment she's been getting. And no, essentially, they're talking, and then Natsu brings up the fact that, Endeavor really, you know, Endeavor, he's still out there. I heard the things he did to you is literally unforgivable. And Natsu's like, I can never essentially care or forgive for what he did to you and Shoto. And shockingly, Rei Todoroki is like, well, I kind of right now don't have any problems with him. And essentially, we find out that Endeavor, he hasn't seen her face to face yet because doctors have prohibited it because it would give her, like, obviously, probably crazy amounts of PTSD from those incidents. He's just been like essentially stopping by and giving like flowers. Well, he gave this one flower. Essentially, the Ray Todoroki brings this up, and she's like, "Yeah, we haven't seen each other, but I know he's been by here a few occasions, and he sent me these flowers that I really like." And essentially, she was saying like, even though he did those heartless things, he's still my husband, and I still love him for who he is, and he still does occasionally nice things for me. So I gotta always believe in him and have a trust in him, which that's a good marriage thing. Even if you can say, well, they should be divorced technically because of that abusive thing, but hey, she's gotten the treatment, and and technically Endeavor gave her that treatment where she needs the help. So, yeah. But maybe heck, even in the manga, they still haven't met, person to person. So maybe when they conclude this Endeavor character building arc, or maybe when the series comes to a conclusion, and when I'm talking about the grand scheme of the series coming to conclusion, maybe that's when Endeavor will finally meet Rei Todoroki again in person to person. Then they'll be cool, and then they can live as a happy family. But the just is obviously you can see that Natsu Todoroki um, still has a disdain, and he does not like his father like Shoto. Now they'll expand on this a lot more, I believe, next season, if not season 6. They'll expand more on why he just does not like, Endeavor. I'll just say it's not as strong as Shota, who dislikes Endeavor. Natsu's feelings towards Endeavor is much more stronger in terms of hatred. So, anyways, we get back to the main battle, which left off from last week. And essentially, after burning that Hayanomu up, well, first things first, Denzel, what did you think of that scene with the Todorokis?
Okay. Well, it's hard to say actually. His older brother, I can't really say much since isn't this pretty much the first time we saw him?
Other than the flashback and in the ending where they show the picture scenes of the Todoroki family, that would be the first time you'd see him probably, him talking.
Mm.
Yes.
Well, all I can say is I look forward to seeing uh what his backstory with Endeavor is, because
I'll just say this, guys. They don't really give Natsu a backstory. They just kind of, talk about his hatred and what he did to his mom and Todoroki, or Shoto, as is. They really don't give him a backstory. The only other possible Todoroki character that you could give a possible backstory, still in the theory of being a Todoroki, is probably Dabi, because he's got fire powers, apparently. That's still one of the, even till this day, that's still one of the leading theories that he is like the fourth son of the Todoroki family that I
but
guess rebelled against his dad. Who knows? Who knows? The manga, I'll just say this. The manga's diving in. Right now in the manga, Dabi's being more featured right now. I don't know if they're going to give him a backstory soon because the newest chapter is going to be tomorrow. I won't say anything else, but right now in the manga, he's being featured heavily. So there's still that theory. Oh, Dabi might be a potential Todoroki.
but hey, that's just a theory, a game theory.
It's just a theory, but who knows? It could possibly be true. Um, but that all you got to say? How do you like the hard pronounced sister's name?
Well, she's legit.
Okay, okay. They'll feature those two characters more possibly next season or season 6. You'll see more of them. Now, I'll just say Fuyami Todoroki. She'll eventually. start to show more compassion towards Endeavor as time will pass on. I'll just say that. But expect them to be like this is kind of like right now. I'll just say this is on pause with the Todoroki family storyline going on. They're gonna pick it up sometime later. I don't know when. Maybe next season or season 6, but they'll pick right now after this episode. It's on pause in terms of where the Todoroki family storyline is headed. But to continue what I was saying, we get back to the fight, and my goodness, this animation for this fight was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot say it enough. I cannot say it enough. These shots were like, oh my goodness. They're pulling out the stops, people. They're using that money they made from My Hero Academia Heroes Rising. I trust and believe. Trust and believe. Um, so we get one of the Hayanomu's powers, and it's like the regular Nomu, or when the one we first saw when the series started off. The fact that this Nomu has regenerative powers, and he can lose limbs and all, but regenerate it back like he's Piccolo.
I cannot do that, Piccolo would say.
So yeah, that's what I mean by the Hayanomus are deadly. So, my goodness, the action's getting crazy. The Hayanuma regenerates. He punches Endeavor right through the building, straight up right through the building. Gives no craps about the people inside. And oh my goodness, there was this amazing freaking just sequence where they're just flying around fighting around the building. Oh my goodness, and they're tearing up the building like literally. It gets to the point where Hawks, he has to jump outside for a bit, and he's using his feathers like telepathically or psychically to take people out of the building. So, well, I probably should not say that, but I'm not going to say it because it was pretty bad at the time. But if you know what I mean, it should remind you of a certain incident in American history, almost. But essentially, we dive more into Hawks' quirk, and essentially, he can use his feathers like use a psychic he has psychic feathers. He can control where they go to and what he's thinking essentially. So he uses his feathers to essentially pick these people up, take them out the building, and bring them safety. The only downside to that is if he uses too much of his feathers from his wings, he essentially cannot fly essentially, or he has a difficult time flying. So you're seeing the drawbacks of Hawks' quirk. He's still a pretty cool hero, but his drawbacks is pretty insane. From the standpoint, you lose your ability to fly. So that could be a total, especially in combat vein and sense, he could be in some trouble if he, say, loses his wings. I'll just say if you get my wink wink, I won't say what that means, but for the people who knows what I mean, wink wink, you've already seen it happen before. But things are going crazy. Then there was this crazy shot where the building half is just falling apart. Or what happens is Endeavor does like that move Frieza did from the Universe Survival arc, where he just has different beams in different select areas, and he's cutting this Hayanomu up. And all of a sudden, he does it again, and it cuts the freaking buildings into shards. I'm like, yo, what the hell is going on here? This whole fight sequence is crazy. Denzel, what are you thinking at this moment?
Man, I'm really. It got me all fired up.
Oh my goodness. So, essentially, the Nomu, he starts regenerating yet again. His head's intact. So it's looking like this thing's like Cell. If you keep the head intact, it will just regenerate the body thoroughly. Then all of a sudden, we see a new technique this thing can do. And it splits out other Nomus.
Oh my god, it's So Juniors.
And it's this thing, I told you, this thing is no joke. And the fact that it can spit out like the Nomu we've seen the past 3 seasons, just imagine there are an army of these things.
I think it would only just begun.
So there's these other heroes in the area that are kind of like supporting Hawks and Endeavor in this fight. Not Endeavor. Hawks eventually goes down there and protects the people. Um, he has like these long feathers that are kind of like, I guess you can say, like katana swords essentially. Um, those essentially, like, I guess, are more sturdier, wings of his that he probably makes stronger. So he kind of cuts those Nomu up essentially. Focusing back to what Endeavor's doing, he debuts a new move we haven't seen him do, and that is his prominence burn, essentially. It's one of his new moves he gets after the season 3 stuff, and when he's declared the number one hero. And like I said, it's new along with his new hero suit as well. Now, again, the Nomu takes this attack. The Nomu takes that full blast, and Endeavor's starting to overheat right now. He's like, because him overheating, it's essentially making his body weaker and, more at a disadvantage to essentially lose the fight. And that's why it cuts back to a flashback where it says, see, that's why I made Todoroki who he is today. And that's why I had him be a combination of fire and ice. So in these cases, he don't overheat. He can use his ice powers to cool himself down, which I guess, as crazy as it seems, it's smart. Even though he had to do abusive measures to get what he wants, it's a much more benefit to Todoroki, the fact that, oh, if Todoroki only had fire powers, he'd be essentially like his dad, where he could overheat and he could possibly lose fights. But now that he's got his ice side, he can cool that down, his overheat side. So yeah. Then all of a sudden, the high-end Nomu just goes on the offense and just takes Endeavor down to the point he makes Endeavor lose a freaking eye.
That's brutal.
I kid you not. Um, if you're asking me, this was one of the goriest parts of, if not the show's history, straight up anime in this decade or in this time. Because for one, they don't show people losing eyeballs nowadays. And more importantly, they don't show characters spitting up puddles of blood.
They never did that in season 3?
I'm just saying it's one of the few instances they do it.
Mm.
Especially in terms of anime, because anime, they don't, unless it's very, very freaking serious, they won't show no blood. Well, that's mostly Dragon Ball. But yeah, this was one of those like things where it's like, okay, kiddies, don't watch no more. If honestly it was me and my kids were like, let's say at the age of like 7 or 8, I'd be like, yep, you're done. The moment I would have seen the eye, because when I was reading this in the manga and the fact that he lost the eyeball, I was like, he lost an eyeball. Holy shit. Excuse my language, but my God. You've already really explained your sequence of what you're thinking about that part.
Well, I legit thought that Endeavor was gonna die.
I kid you not. Reading the manga, I think everybody did. I honestly would have been crazy if it happened. But if you're an anime only, you probably did think Endeavor might have probably was gonna probably die right now. And there's panic going on in the crowds. And there's this like newswoman who's doing this live interview at the time, and it's panning to different shots. Well, 2 different shots. We see Class 1A and Todoroki, and they're really focusing on Todoroki. Todoroki looks really concerned for his dad's, like I said, he doesn't care and he doesn't like his dad for what he did, but he's still like, is worried. Like, wouldn't you not be worried about your own parents, even if you had a pretty difficult relationship? You would care if like they're on TV and they could possibly end up dying. And they go to Fuyami and Natsu, and they're showing their look at face. They're watching on the laptop, and they're like scared for their ever living life too. And essentially, Natsu, he's saying like, I don't understand why he just doesn't get out of there. Just run away. It's no time to be stubborn. But Fuyami is like, look, your father. He's stubborn, and he's not going to give up without a fight. He's going to keep fighting. as he did this episode. But going back to the panic, the interview woman is essentially like, she's like, so is this what it's like to be without no symbol? Is this what it's like not to have a symbol of peace? And essentially, it's getting the crowd all riled up and getting the crowd scared. And you see the fear that people are having now that All Might is not there, which they do pan to All Might, and All Might is shocked. Like, he's grabbing his chest and stuff like that because he's tremendously worried because I guarantee you it's difficult for him just to stand there and sit there and actually be just technically a civilian now. He can't go out there and do anything no more.
Yeah, I can see why you would say this is a much bigger deal than I thought.
Trust me. Like I said, this is a new age. This time, and it even goes for Deku. All Might ain't gonna be there no more to back him up now. He's on his own. So if he gets into a fight, Deku's gonna have to find himself to get himself out of there. However the crazy the situations he needs to get, but this is what I was talking about last week. Where I'm saying we're in the end game now, not in like the end of the series, but I'm talking about the end game and the fact of things are gonna be much more dangerous. And now you don't have that All Might cushion to be like, oh, All Might can come in for like how many minutes they put him on for an episode, and he can be the hero. Now you have threats where All Might's not here. Holy crap, you could have some heroes actually die right here. Mm-hmm. Because you don't have that blanket, because All Might will be that, secure blanket that will prevent any character from dying. Now it's like, oh, we could actually lose some characters right here. Interesting.
Like Night Eye.
Oh, yes. Yes. He's the first casualty to drop post All Might era. I won't say anything, but there's some characters in the manga that might possibly die as well. If not, there already has been another death. I won't say anything. I won't say who died, but man, was that a heartstring. So anyways, it cuts. So anyways, the crowd in the city are going crazy. They're just like it's the apocalypse. There are people just running over because people are scared and they're trying to get out of the way and stuff like that. But then I believe we see the kid from last week who ran away from Endeavor, who's like, "Why are you guys running? Stop running! Stop having fear! Endeavor's still alive. He's still fighting. Don't you see his flames?" And it's crazy because it's the same kid, I believe, that ran away from Endeavor because he felt like he was being different. But he must have gotten inspired by the fact that Endeavor's fighting for, not only him, but the other people. And he's like, and essentially saying, he's like, listen, the heroes are taking all these risks to keep us safe. Essentially, like I said, the heroes in this universe are essentially like advanced policemen. They know what they're getting themselves into. They know that they might not come home to their families at the end of the day, or whoever their significant others are. And that's why they put the risk on, so they can protect the public. And I really liked what this kid said. He's like, these heroes are just doing this to keep us safe. They're just doing their job. And, Endeavor, he gets back up. He's still fighting. And this guy's just charging at him. Hawks gets in a little bit of the action with the Hayanomu. And Hawks comes to revelation like, look, I cannot beat this guy. But speed-wise, I can match this dude. So essentially, he puts some of his feathers, puts them into the back of Endeavor to give him like a little kickstart boost to make him go faster. So these wings, along with his fire, and then all of a sudden it shows this beautiful shot where the fire actually turns into wings, and he's charging in at the Hayanomu. He charges in, his fist is in the Hayanomu's mouth, and essentially, the wings are starting to die out behind him because obviously they're burning up. Hawks sees this, and essentially what Endeavor does is he goes up to like, I forget what the name you call the thinnest atmosphere of the Earth is, but he goes up to that area, almost the area, not exactly in space, but close to the area where Goku and Beerus fought in the Battle of Gods movie and arc. And essentially he does this so he can prevent less casualties and people cannot be harmed. So he goes up in there and he even says, he's like, I do not like using this school stupid phrase, but fuck it. I'm sorry. I'm dropping F-bombs now. He's like, F it. I'm going to do this crazy. Plus Ultra. And then he just uses another prominence burn and beats the Hayanomu. And then And at the same time, they're showing Todoroki. This dude is like worried for his dad's life. He's like clenching his fist. He looks like he's about to freaking cry. And albeit we haven't seen Todoroki cry since damn near season two. Um,
Of when he was a kid, right? Or
huh?
of when he was a kid, right? Or
No, that was when they focused on his character arc during the sports festival.
hmm
Dog, yeah, he looked like he's about to cry, and like they do close-up shots and everything in the face, and all of a sudden, and they pan to what the brother and the sister are doing, and what the city's cheering because they're happy, obviously, that he won, and then at the end, Denzel, I believe you can take that away. At the end of the fight, what does Endeavor do that is kind of symbolic?
he raised his fist up high like a true hero, I guess. Like a true number one hero, I guess.
And essentially, that's why the title is called His Star. Funny enough, they decide to put the title of the episode at the end of the episode, and then you get freaking credits. Listen, Studio Bones, listen. You've done this too many occasions. You need to stop doing this. Next season, I better not see you guys do these title screen episodes or put them at the end of the episode, and then, okay, credit scene.
That goes for a lot of animes either way. Mm.
I haven't seen it. Maybe I'm just watching too much Dragon Ball and Pokemon where they just start the episode off with the title screen. My goodness. Season 4 of My Hero Academia, I swear, I've been doing that title screen crap where they either show it at the start of the episode, the middle half of the episode, or hell, like today's episode, the end of the episode. Not to say that I don't have a problem with it. It can be a little bit of nitpick, but why? Don't even make the title screen then if you're gonna do that. Please don't even waste your time making the title screen if you're gonna put it at the end of the episode and then we get credits.
I don't know anyone who complains that much over the title.
I know I'm being overreactive, man. I'm heated up because this episode was great. But my goodness, I just gotta say that I'm like, can you people have an issue with at least putting the title screen at the end of the episode, and then we just cut to the credits? I'm like, that's it? Wow.
I think they do that in Sword Art Online too once.
Oh my goodness. I was like, Jesus. And all the animes I've watched, they put the title screen within the first 5 minutes of the episode. Or right after the opening. This place started just put it at the end of the episode like it was nothing. I guess it's symbolic because yeah, it's his start. This is his, arc to being the number one hero and stuff like that. And even Hawks brings up and like he's like, yeah, I've always watched you from a distance, seeing how you wanted to overthrow All Might as the number one hero. And it shows him like it shows Endeavor having like this little plank and like these rocks essentially trying to climb, essentially. It was kind of crazy. And it shows that Hawks was watching Endeavor from a distance for a while. And he understands Endeavor. And essentially that's what Hawks was trying to tell Endeavor. Like, listen, you need to have an impression on the folks. You need to show these people that you're the reason why they selected you as the number one hero. And he showed it, and he did the symbolic thing where, like All Might doing. I guess you can say it's like an end of an era, and it's the start of a new one when he did that. But I guess you can say start of the Endeavor era. Now, obviously, Deku will take that from him, obviously. Who knows when? But yeah. But like I said, that's when the episode ends off, and then we just get credits. Just credits. After the title screen, credits. And it's like, oh, okay. Now, obviously, I'm thinking, okay, credit scenes, great, great end to an episode. Wonderful end to an episode. But we got to get our damn post-credit scene. Give me my post-credit scene.
They got it.
Actually, quick reference before I talk about the post-credit scene. They do cut back to what Todoroki's feeling after the fight's over. This dude is on his knees. Probably, they didn't show him in tears, but he looked like he was crazy distressed. Like, you had Deku, I think Momo was there, Ochako, Aizawa was there too. They were kind of like, they didn't say anything, but they kind of were almost about to touch him to comfort him because they know, like, they would be stressed out in any sort of moment like he was. And the fact that he's, glad to see his dad, because he even says in the episode, show me what you were talking about. And, it was great. Like I said, the Todoroki storyline is going to be put on hold till they bring that back up whenever either season 5 or maybe season 6 starts up. You already know they're going to do this. So, anyways, let's get to the post-credit scene because that was the crazy scene of the episode, other than what happened in this episode. And we see good old Deku sleeping in his lovely 1A classroom bed. All of a sudden, it cuts to a dream sequence. His whole body, other than his eyes, his hair, and his arm, they're all covered in some black, misty type of thing. Next thing you know, he pans over to his right, I believe. You see in color, like red, yellow, blue, other than Nana Shimura, you see the other. And this is for the first time the anime reveals in-person's faces, the other users of One for All.
Mm-hmm.
So you can, I believe, you can see Nana, All Might. Now, I don't know in terms of ranking. I know Nana's the 7th user of One for All. All Might is obviously the 8th user, and we know Deku is the 9th user of all, well, not All for One, One for All. Now you do see All Might's. If you pause the scene at the moment Deku's turning over to the users, you can see All Might. You can see All Might. It's like a kind of deranged like thing that still is moving around. There's no full picture. The reason they have that still is because he's still alive. So you can see that little sparks of fire still left in him. He was colored yellow. Sorry for that interruption. He was colored yellow. He was like in some yellow fire. Now there were 2 other characters that were kind of darkened off. And I believe that other than the main dude, that is the 2nd and 3rd user who, even in the manga, they still have yet to reveal who the 3rd and 2nd user look like, which is insane. So, like I said, Deku pans over. You see, obviously, Nana Shimura. You see a bald yellow guy with a gruff, chin. I forgot. See, I have to go back in that scene and see the other ones because I know the other ones. I will say this. This won't be a spoiler. So now you've seen the scene. You only have one more thing. If you're an anime only, you have only one more thing before you could possibly see Heroes Rising. Because they do show that full colored scene of the users of One for All in Heroes Rising. That's not much of a spoiler, but yeah, you see that. I thought that scene was pretty cool. And I was like, oh my goodness, the other users from One for All. Now, Nana Shimura, she's the only one that's really looking like she's uncolored. Like she looks like she's, as if you saw her from the past. Obviously, because she has deep ties to All Might. And essentially the fact that, I guess you can say she has a little of All Might. All Might has a little of her in her, which I guess Deku sees because that's his master's master and stuff like that. It's interesting that they made her have her full colored body out of the other ones. So it's interesting. I will just say Deku will say something to All Might about it later on. And he does mention the fact that he did see All Might's master. And he does say, oh, you're and it's like kind of a little thing, but he does mention the fact that, oh yeah, All Might, your master was kind of cute. And All Might was, huh?
Did you forget to mention that one scene where, was that All for One that grabbed one of the guys' head?
I'll get to that. I was just going off a little tangent, but yeah, Deku will mention later on to All Might after he tells him about this dream sequence in season 5. He'll be like, yeah, your master, she was kind of cute. And then All Might in that scene would be like, All Might, because I've seen the manga because they talk about it a little bit. All Might, after Deku says that, he's like, yeah, I guess she was, So he was really fond. Well, they didn't obviously hook up or anything, but he was fond of her and stuff like that. I thought it was a funny scene in the manga when they did that because it's like, stop embarrassing me, you stupid kid.
Wait, isn't his teacher much older than he is though? What do
Oh
you
yeah,
mean?
he's much older, but he was kind of like embarrassed from the fact that why would you point that out? Did you think I would not notice? Of course she's cute. So, but Deku, you don't need to be on Onishimura no more. You're on Ochako, my guy.
Please be with Ochako. I'm begging you.
Okay, anyways, what Denzel brought up to a point a few minutes ago is the fact that when Deku looks forward, you see this cloud and this guy is smiling. Now his face, his eyes are covered up too. He's just like, and all of a sudden he sees there's this other guy. That is the other guy that was obviously smiling. If you have a clue and you're smart, the guy that's evilly smiling, that is all for one. The other guy is one for all. And essentially, you're seeing, what it's looking like. What I'm talking about is Deku's seeing essentially in a dream sequence the past, essentially, and he's seeing how One for All was created. Now, I believe there's another. I have to. Well, I haven't read the manga in quite a while, but I believe there's another dream sequence where Deku sees the full story of how One for All got started and how it passed down to the other users and stuff like that. I mean, how it was created by All for One. Um, I don't know if it was this dream sequence, but yeah. Then One for All pans back. He looks at Deku. He reaches his hands out and he says, "So you're the ninth." And then all of a sudden, it cuts back to the real world and glass breaks. And all of a sudden, you see Deku up, and his arm has the red lightning strikes around him, and he's looking like he's in utter fear.
I had moments like that when like I like I just like suddenly like do something that I accidentally hurt myself like when and then I suddenly wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if
Yeah.
it was something.
Yeah, he's like essentially Deku was in shock of what happened. He's looking at his hand, and his arm, his not his arm, but his like UA clothes. The sleeve, I believe, is all tore up around it, and yeah, and there's like a huge mess in his room too because of this thing. So and then that's when it cuts, and then it says to be continued in season 5, and that's when the episode is ends. Um, Before I talk about, I'm not going to talk about it in depth, but I'll give my thoughts. Denzel, your thoughts on the scene for the first time.
Oh my god, that just oh my goodness. I'm left with no words other than yes, your teacher is hit and all my teacher is cute and such, and that's pretty crazy how All for One looked like that before how he looks now. I don't know how he ended up like that.
Well, obviously it's because of it's like you said, over time he's obviously stole somebody's regenerating quirk just to reheal himself all the time. Otherwise he'd be dead. Because that dude is like centuries old. Like when I mean centuries, like literally. Now he had to get past 8 users of One for All. The dude has some kind of quirk where it's keeping him alive.
He killed them all, basically, up until All Might.
Oh, he didn't really kill All Might, but yes, he does kill each user. That should not even be a spoiler. That shouldn't. You gotta obviously know that he killed all of them because there'd be no reason why One for All would be passed down to literally 9 generations. With Deku being the 9th. Personally, if you ask me, I wish Deku was more the 10th because it would have made more sense of the 10th is usually would be the more special one out of the case. But okay, he's the 9th one. That's fine by me.
Be that big a deal?
Well, maybe technically he could be the 10th because All for One technically had One for All at first. But yeah. So I guess any more things on this dream sequence you want to talk about and the little things we got, and your I guess expectations of what could possibly happen to Deku after this.
Well, I suppose it'll involve the League of Villains if I'm not mistaken.
Next season will probably they'll feature more about the League of Villains, but I'm just gonna say this. One, um, now, like I said, I'm probably have to go back in the manga and read it again. If I get that chance to. But for one, I feel like people might take a little bit of offense to it because they're like, well, this dream sequence was definitely longer in the manga version. Listen, they got to build hype up for season 5, and you couldn't even put most of it in there. Um, but essentially, um, what's this going to tie in for Deku in terms of where this is going? Essentially, he's going to dive in more to like I said earlier, the history of One for All. And essentially, he's going to unlock more of that unlocked or dormant power of One for All that's still in him, which essentially will change him to be the fact that he will more than likely end up being the strongest user for One for All. I'm not going to say anything else. All I'm going to say is once they do this one plot point, it's going to continue. It's still continuing on in the manga in terms of progression where Deku and One for All stands. But all I can say is this is the start of Deku's arc where he gets not more of a control, but much more of an understanding of One for All. And he'll get certain buffs later on with One for All that will make him much more formidable opponent when he can finally master these things. So, all that. So when I mean buffs, that means he'll be learning new techniques. I won't say how he learns new techniques. We're going to have to find out in season 5. But they also, like I said, do make a mention of it in Heroes Rising. Even though it's a little tidbit if you don't catch on. But he'll get some certain new moves to add to his arsenal. And right now in the manga, he only has one of that. He's going to get, whether something happens right now in the current arc, he's projected to get the second new power later in the manga. So obviously, you're going to see Deku evolve his One for All quirk beyond something the past users couldn't even do, which goes to show that Deku is a special individual, like any main protagonist, of course. But yeah, and then, like I said, you're just going to have to wait till season 5 dives into that more. Season 5, there will obviously be, again, 2 arcs. I won't give away those 2 arcs. One of those arcs, I will just say, will deal with the villains, and another arc will go back to dealing with Class 1A and mostly Deku. But that's where this season ends, and we're just going to have to wait till whether season 5 comes out this October like they did this year, or which I feel like they're probably not going to do. I feel like it might just... If you're asking me for an ideal time slot when season 5 could return, with how long they needed to delay season 4 to make season 4 great, and I know Studio Bones want to probably make season 5 just as great, if not better, this thing might not come back, maybe not till 2021, around this time possibly, which will be a pretty long hiatus. That's literally like half this year, along with a quarter of next year, or 3 months of next year. So there will probably be speculations the next couple of weeks and months when is My Hero Academia season 5 come out. I feel like they won't give an official release date until they say like a specific, like when I mean release date, they probably won't give the day, but they might give the year. If anything, if they really want to get it out there, which I don't think is a good idea because they'll rush it a lot, because I don't think they'll be able to, do all of this and bring it back by October. I think Studio Bones want to give their workers a break and be like, listen, we'll come back maybe in August or September, and we'll start making season 5, and that will release sometime next year, 2021, maybe in the spring. I think that's the ideal place where season 5 could be coming back. And yes, is that going to be a long time? But hell, we had to wait for season 4, when it was first announced to be around this time last year, they delayed it till October to make it much better for us. So if they want to make season 5 really good, I hate to say it, but season 5 might not come back to season or My Hero Academia might not come back till 2021, around this time in April. That's my ideal time slot where they could bring it back. It'd probably be the much more smarter decision because you don't have to rush anything and you won't have to overwork your workers. And plus, like I said, I think they did themselves a phenomenal job. And I think the workers at Studio Bones and even the actors, they obviously all need a break because they not only did a freaking whole season. You got to think about it. They did a movie too. Um, they did a movie as well that sold humongously, and I cannot wait till that movie comes out on DVD, to get it. Um, but yeah, like I said, my idealistic time slot for season 5 returning of My Hero Academia, it's probably gonna be April of 20, or well, maybe it's just, I won't say April, but I'll say spring of 2021. Hopefully times will be much better that time than it is going on right now. But you know, like I said, it was a phenomenal season, the best season so far, and I feel like it's only going to get better. So for one, anime onlys, thank you for checking this channel out for the season. Me and the Red Wolf are muchly appreciated for you guys checking out these videos these past seasons and us discussing My Hero Academia because we love the series. And yeah, we'll see you whenever it comes back, or we'll see you guys next week for um, our thoughts on season 4 as a whole. Next week, I just thought it would be probably cool to do next week just the last My Hero Academia season 4 content to do our overview and our over thoughts of the entire season as a whole. So to anime only guys, it was a fun ride. Season 4 was fantastic. I cannot wait for season 5 whenever that comes out. And thank you for not only supporting us, but supporting other content creators on YouTube that do My Hero Academia content because especially like the reactors I know you guys love to see their reactions as long as your reactions to these episodes too. As for you manga readers, obviously I'll see you guys tomorrow for the newest chapter review, as well as our story for My Hero Academia is still continuing on because yes, has an animated season ended? Yeah, but we still get the manga chapters, so we still get to read them weekly or however long it takes for the next chapter to release. Things are getting hectic, and I can't wait. But I guess Denzel, anything you want to say up to cap off this season?
I'm just saying, thank you all for supporting this channel and such. And my God, this was an eventful season, and I hope, like you said, I hope it gets better.
Oh, trust me, it will get better. It will get better. If the current arc right now in the manga is essentially the Marineford arc from One Piece is going on, it's going to be eventful. I just can't wait to see that animated.
He always puts in One Piece.
Anyways, guys, we're going to get out of here. You guys will see me later today. Well, tomorrow. If you guys are fans of One Piece, I will officially start doing One Piece anime episode reviews, even though the manga is far ahead, and I need to stop looking at the stupid manga because they revealed something crazy that I wish I could talk about, but it's else in the area, and I don't want to spoil it for other people that are fans of One Piece and anime only people, but you'll see my One Piece anime episode review tomorrow. So yeah, other than as well as Pokemon, if you're fans of Pokemon too. But other than that, we're going to get out of here. It's been a blast. My Hero Academia. It's a dang shame to say I won't be reviewing My Hero Academia weekly every Saturday or every 2 Saturdays anymore. It's gonna be on hiatus, and hey, it's gonna be the same thing. Well, the only other thing My Hero Academia I will be reviewing is the manga chapters, and like I said, me and Denzel said it both. Great season. Job well done, Studio Bones. I cannot wait to see your work in the future for season 5. And yeah, so other than that, we're going to get out of here. So if you like this video, leave a like. leave a comment on the comment section. What are your thoughts on this episode? What are your thoughts on, Deku and this apparent one for all backstory? If you're an anime only people, or if you're a manga reader, don't spoil it for people in the comment section, please. Thank you. Leave it for people to have open thoughts, as well as what are your idealistic thoughts on where season 5 can make a return? Other than that, we're gonna get out of here. So, and then really hit that subscribe button for my channel as well as the Red Wolf channel, and stuff like that. And also, if you are a subscriber, make sure you hit that bell icon to make sure you get all the up-to-date content that I push out on this channel. Other than that, we're gonna get out of here. Well, I won't say for the last time, but for the last episode review, we'll see you guys later for season 5. This isn't goodbye, or this isn't farewell, but this is a see you later. Till then, guys, we'll catch you guys on the next My Hero Academia episode review. Peace.
Peace.